All right, everybody. Nice to see you again. So, I have a question for you. What causes us to change our personality as we grow older? Is it information? Is it experience? Is it finance? What is it? What can cause someone to change their views and their standards and their outlook on life as they grow? Because I've always wondered this in a way. I haven't gone too far into it, but I've always wondered this. They say that as you grow older, you become more wise on certain things. But they also say that as you get older, you also become more ignorant to other things. So, are you getting smarter or are you getting stupider? Dumber. Sorry, you can't say stupider because stupider isn't a word. But are you getting dumber or are you getting smarter? So, check this out. If, say for instance, I come from a very, I guess you can call it a democratic mindset, right? You know, if you can get it for free, get it. If F the system, they're giving it, take it, whatever the case may be, right? And then to head towards this more Republican mindset. Is it because I'm getting older? Is it because my finances are constantly changing? Is it because I'm getting more involved in my future? Well, what is it? Because I've always thought that those type of things don't change. Your maturity might change as far as like getting in trouble and getting into certain types of fights and knowing when to stop drinking or whatever the case may be, right? And those are more linked to maturity. But I've noticed that I've become more and more Republican, and you can see it a little bit when you see my stories or even my my politic videos. Now, do I sometimes see things in a Republican site like people should stand on their own 2 feet, people should get their own stuff together, that they are solely responsible for their own outcomes, and so on, right? And a lot of Republicans believe that, but they also don't mind reaching down and helping someone else out, but only if they see the potential for them to grow as well, right? So if I see another man who might be having a hard time and I reach down to help him, I'm not going to reach down and help a person who isn't trying to help himself. I want to reach down and help the person who is trying to help himself and may need the extra hand, right? Now, and then sometimes do I see things in a Democrat state or eyesight, right? Where I want to see the government play a role to better its people, because if you think about it, this country is a machine. Okay, we are almost a very efficient machine. Okay, now each one of us plays our part in this machine, but like any other machine, it needs to be well oiled. It needs to be taken care of, maintained. Do your 5S on it, right? For anyone who knows what the 5S's are. Now, so with that all being said, do I sometimes see myself looking at things in that view? Yes, sometimes. Because, like I say, we're all in this together. So, they say that a chain, what's it saying? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Now, so if we are all pieces of the chain, when we have people that are down and out, those are weak spots in our chain, and we need to either replace it or fix it. find a way to deal with it. You can't continue to run it with the chain messed up like that. That's how you end up stranded. So, I try to think of different ways that we can possibly make it better. So sometimes I look at it like that. But the other side of me says, hey, they had all the opportunities to fix it themselves. I've said this in the previous video before. We were all born the same. And I know there's somebody out there saying not everybody's born the same because certain disabilities or different things like that, right? So I already know somebody's going to say that. But on average, okay, hear me out on this, on average, we're all the same. We have all the same 2 feet, we have the same 2 arms, and we have a torso. I mean, we have what it takes to make something out of themselves, out of ourselves, right? Our outcomes are solely based on what we decide to do in life. So sometimes you are 100% responsible for everything that's ever happened to you, right? So say if you're a criminal, right, you had the option to not commit the crime, but yet you did it, so you end up in jail, which is a consequence of your actions. And what happens is, a lot of them will say, well, you don't understand, you don't know what it's like to not have anything and nobody's hiring, so all you have to do in this area is just steal or sell drugs or whatever the case may be. And so I hear that and I go, why don't you take a job that pays you less? Because at least you wouldn't go to jail. You're responsible for that. So, I see things in two different lights, 2 different sides of what ifs, right? Where I want people to take responsibility for their actions, but also understand that some people need a hand up. Not everybody is worth a hand up. See, I've had a couple conversations with a few people, and the people know who they are, so I'm not going to say who they are, because out of respect. And if she does, or if they see, or he sees it, I'm hoping that they understand that I'm not picking, okay? I'm not picking at them. I'm just bringing up the topic because the other day I did a video on, have you ever needed food stamps? And I suggested that maybe food stamps should be a family thing and not a single person thing, because why should I support someone who has no other responsibilities other than themselves, and they can't help themselves? See, I can understand if it was, say for instance, a veteran or someone who has committed their lives to certain things and now they're no longer capable of taking care of themselves, and they should get a hand up, right? I'm not saying a hand out, I'm saying a hand up, right? Because they've gone all the way down in the trenches and fought for us, and so sometimes you got to help them out of the trenches. But so I did this video and I've had a couple comments about it, but this person said, oh well, I guess we can't get food stamps because your dad died or whatever the case may be. See, I didn't say in that video that things were perfect, but not discussing the problem is almost just as bad as letting things just happen the way they are. The cost of food and everything else is going up. Yes, everyone has a role in this type of things, and the government plays its role, and the Fed plays their role, and of course, right? But ultimately they're taking more and more from the taxpayer to cover these expenses. Now, that's why I'm saying that we should have these conversations. So the other thing is that oh well, your dad's beating the mom, or whatever the case may be, and now she doesn't want to leave her man because she doesn't think she's going to get food stamps and all this other stuff. Well, you shouldn't be trying to leave your man just so you can get food stamps. You should leave your man because he was beating your ass, I guess, right? But look, like I said, I'm not trying to keep benefits from people. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to discuss a conversation on trying to fix the problem. Are there flaws in my ideas? Of course they are. My ideas are not perfect, and my ideas aren't going to make everyone happy. Every time someone wins, someone has to lose. Now, if we keep an even balance between wins and losses, we can manage it a lot better. But if I'm always losing and you're always winning, I want to put a stop to it. The same way as if I'm always winning and you're always losing, you're going to try to find a way to put a stop to it. Now, like I said, I wasn't trying to say let's stop it in general. Maybe I am. I don't know. Like I said, I'm seeing things through two different lights. But the fact of the matter is, that you would even bring this up. See, I talked to the person back, and one of my responses was not everyone is worth it. There are people out here who are scamming the system because they know they can. So should I have sympathy for these people? Of course not. And when you get caught scamming the system, you should be penalized for doing so. And I will feel nothing at all. Are there people that could possibly use these benefits to help them? Of course there is. Everyone knows that I'm having an issue with my employment right now, right? But what if I need it? What if I just cannot find more work? Or what if I find more work, but it's just not enough? And then I go to the food stamp office and I'm requesting help just so I can get a little help in the meantime until I can find something that will sustain me a lot better. That's why I can't be against it 100%, because you never know if you're going to be the one that needs that particular system. The same reason why I'm not against the rich, because one day I'm hoping to eventually become rich. So I don't want all these different penalties against the rich, because if I ever make it there, those penalties will be on me. Now, should the rich do certain things? Possibly, but they're already doing a lot. Look at taxes in general. See, if I make $40,000 and I pay 10% of that $40,000, I'm only paying $4,000 in the taxes. And I'm just shooting off some numbers, so don't quote my numbers, okay? My numbers are a little off from my actual income and how much I actually pay. Okay, now, say someone who has $400,000 paying the exact same 10%, they're putting in $40,000. So they're already doing so much more than I am. Each and every last one of us. We cannot compete with the amount of money that they put in, but there is quite a few of us compared to them, right? So in a way, it balances itself out. I've seen a couple of chats where they said a flat tax would be good. which I think would be good. Tax everyone the same. Then we won't have any issues on who's being taxed more than the other. But everyone's going to say the rich can afford to pay more. Let them pay more. But I'm going to keep telling you, you made him rich. You helped make this person rich. Why are you fighting against the very person that you made rich? Nobody told you to do so. That aggravates me. If I ever make a product that, say I'm making t-shirts, okay? Say I'm making t-shirts, and these t-shirts are badass. Everybody wants one. And I'm charging $150 a t-shirt. I don't know what kind of t-shirt it is. Don't ask me. Okay, just referencing. Now, these t-shirts are $150 each. And everybody wants one. I see that I sold 50,000 of them at $150 and people are still wanting them. Then I sit there and I change the amount of it to $200 a shirt. Another 50,000 sales. Then I go, you know what? I'm going to sell them for $300 a shirt. You see the price increasing and you're still buying them. Because you like what I'm putting out. You like what I have to offer. So say I made all this money from my t-shirts. I'm this real big t-shirt man now. This one product just made me famous, made me lots of money. And then I hear the very same person wearing my t-shirt saying, you're not paying your fair share back into the community. Well, that's not what I started selling my t-shirts for, is it? I started selling my t-shirts so I can make money. So that I can be comfortable. So that the people that are relying on me can be comfortable. That's what I did it for. I didn't do it for the community. The government's going to take a piece of the pie anyways, and they're going to give it back to the community. So why should I contribute more to the community when the government is doing it for me? You see what I'm saying here? And you can easily stop buying my shirts. You can say, I don't want that guy's shirt, and I won't make any money. But as long as I keep making a product that people like, people will keep spending the money regardless of how much money I have and how much money they're having to pay. The phones are the perfect example. Do you remember what phones used to cost? Do you know how much the phones cost now? So you get what I'm saying here. Look, I know that I go back and forth in my videos with myself, with my ideas, with my topics. I jump around and I get it. And I appreciate you hanging out. But I like to try to make a point. And I've heard that that's a young person thing. Old people don't make points. They just talk. That's all they do, right? They'll say what they have to say, and then you'll be like, well, what's the point? He didn't have a point. He was just saying what he's going to say. He didn't care. He didn't care about making a point. So, you know, that's why, like, I see these things and I'm like, man, you know, and if I feel like these are the things that started pushing me further to the right. But I don't want to get to a mindset where I can't think about the very people that I came up with, or even the people that are going through the exact same things that I'm going through. Say, for instance, we're all going through the same shit and I make it out. Well, I don't want to just make it seem like they're just not doing enough, because sometimes things just happen. Say, for instance, like me, where I make over 20 an hour, and There's people coming out of college who aren't making that. And I've never even been to college. I haven't been to college, and I have not finished high school. I have my GED. That's all I have. Now, I used whatever was given to me. There was an opportunity to take something, I took it. And I try to come up the best way I can. So, there are some situations where, I see other people, and I'm like, well, shit, I know what it was like coming up, trying to learn something. I had a person who was supposed to teach me how to run a particular machine. And this person wouldn't teach me how to run this machine because he thought I was coming to take his job. So he didn't want to teach me. But we had more than one machine. So it necessarily didn't mean that I was taking that particular machine. They just wanted me to learn these things, right? Turns out they got upset with him not wanting to teach me anything. Right? They're sitting there, they were watching him the entire time. And then they punished him by letting him go. See, I was not supposed to be taking his job. I was supposed to be getting ready for the night shift. Because they were going to need a couple burners at night. And I was working during the day at the time. All he saw was that I came there to learn what he knew. And his supervisors were telling him to teach me these things. And he thought I was a threat. And so he didn't want to teach me. I took the second shift job, not knowing very much, and then eventually moved back to first. But every time that I had someone come to learn a machine from me, regardless if I thought they were coming to replace me or not, I would try to teach them everything I knew. I'm not here to stop your grind. I'm not here to stop you from learning what you need to learn and better yourself. If the cars aren't in it for me to stay where I'm at, then the cars aren't in it for me. It's time for me to go. So when I see people that are coming up the same way that I came up, of course I want to look down and I want to sit there and try to help them reach a level that's more sustainable for them. And at the same time, I'm learning more information from them as well. Different views, different thought processes. Because my way may not be all that great. And they might see a few things to better the way that I have been doing it. So, I always keep an ear out for that. I want to help people around me. But the problem is there's too many people who aren't willing to help themselves. And that's a very sad thought. That you don't want to help yourself become something better than you are. Now, there we go. I have my other thought process that says, how can I say something like that? Because what works for me may not work for someone else. If I'm making $40,000 a year and I go, well, this is enough for me, I don't want anything else, this is perfectly just fine. And to hear someone tell me that I'm not working hard enough, I need to do better, that would piss me off. Because look, whatever your goal is, your goal. Don't force your goal onto me. Okay? Where I am is where I want to be. Or vice versa, right? Wherever you are in your life is where you want to be. Or you see a goal that you want to reach. And look, even if everyone in the world had $1 million, there'll still be people going broke. Because what they want in life is what they want. And you cannot control that. As hard as you try. You can't control that. Sorry, my nose itches. Sorry, had a little itch. But you have to remember that, everybody. Because, like I said, look at, you know what? I'll give an example real quick. I know this is a long video. I know, bear with me. I'd like to do short videos. I like to do long videos. And I feel like this is a video that's worth listening to. Maybe. I don't know. It's up to you. If you make it this far. Right? So, this is, look at the game life. Everyone starts off with the same amount of money. You know, every time you spin the wheel, that's a random event. You don't know what you're going to get, but you just make the move anyways. And by the end of the game, you may or may not bought houses, you may or may not had kids, and you get to retire and you count up your funds to find out who won. The person with the most money wins. Well, life is like that. The actual life. We all start off with the same amount of money. In a way. I didn't have no money when I was born. So any money that I have is money that I've earned. Are rich people on the same boat? They were born without no money. Their parents had money. So anytime they bought something, they bought it with, guess what? Their parents' money. They still didn't have anything of their own. And see, they get used to that kind of lifestyle, and it makes them act a certain way. And it also makes things a little harder for them, because if they ever did not have that money, they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. Right? The same way that when poor people come across a lot of money, they tend to not know what to do with themselves. But, you know, I just want to let y'all know that I enjoy talking with all of y'all. I like having conversations with y'all, because I know some of y'all hit me back in text or chat or Facebook or whatever the case may be. Anytime I give a solution to a problem, do you really think I really think that that's the best solution? Obviously not, because there is no best solution. You can't fix everything unless the other person wants to help fix it too. You know, it's just like an addict. As many times as you take that addict to get help, as much money as you spend on that addict to keep him from using, that addict will not stop until he's ready to stop. No matter what you try to do. So sometimes do I think taking money out of the situation when it comes to some of these social programs and some of these social things that are going on? Yes, sometimes I do think taking the money out would help a few things. Because sometimes some people have to hit the very bottom before they learn how to get to the top. That's just that simple. You know, so I've probably been on here long enough, right? And I appreciate everyone for stopping by. If you made it this far, I really want to thank you, because you're the ones that are really helping this channel grow, and you're taking the time to hear my stories, hear my thought process jump from subject to subject. And you bear with me and you listen to it. And I hope that it makes you think about certain topics. Anything you want me to talk about, I'll talk about it with you. Will we always agree? Of course not. That's not how it always works. Will we agree? Sometimes. So I want to end this right here because I have been sitting here keeping y'all from doing whatever it is that y'all have to do, or maybe y'all are just listening to it out of random, right? But I hope all of y'all are having a great day. I will be back tomorrow to post something else, but today I'm back. I'll holler at y'all next time.